Let me open just a new chat because it's like again and again it's going back to the simple API which we don't want. We want to solve all the complex issues that we're getting into our real app, getting in our real application. All the issues that are occurring in the backend application. We have already created a simple API with dummy data, simple with dummy data to test the connectivity with backend, and it was working fine. Now we want to fix the issues in the actual complex backend setup. Right now we are getting this error. We got a new to-do list where it is going to first analyze the error message, identify root cause, examine the project structure to understand the module organization, check imports, fix module issues, verify, and then test. Okay. So earlier it was AppDB session, now it's app code database. Now we got another issue. Cannot import process audio. Now a new one, analyze trends from app salary tasks trends. Analyze user trends. Okay. Cannot import auth from app API given endpoints. API router is trying to import several modules that doesn't exist in the endpoints directory. Let's check if they exist in routers directory instead. Or transactions, files, insights, and then import voice. API router is trying to import from endpoints, but router files are actually app routers. App.routers. Okay. Module not found. No module name JWT. So now JWT is also not there. That means again it should present in the requirements file. Let's check file to see it's using Python Jose or PyJWT. Then you should have checked it earlier before installing the dependency. Not Python's Jose. Let's install PyJWT. Let's install passlib for password hashing. Fixing API router file now. We need to update import for user since it's not in the list of files in the routers directory. Comment it out as users module is not available. How come users is not available? Let me see. In the models we have, in schemas we have, in routers we actually don't have it. Okay. Okay, for now let's comment it. Approve. Where did it run the application? Let me see. Not here, not here, not here, not here. Okay, here it says application startup completed. Run. Got into internal server error. Salary object has no attribute ping. Health check endpoint. Connected if salary app, else disconnected. If this is already initialized, then it is going to say connected, otherwise disconnected. Now it says healthy and salary status is connected. Okay, so according to Roo, it has completed all the tasks and the API is now working correctly. But we cannot be sure. The API was able to start, but we need to go back to UI and see if anything is working, any of these APIs are working there or not. Command Option J. Let's clear the console, go to network and refresh the page. We're still facing course issues with our main application. We all saw these getting resolved with the simple API, but I see we still are having issues in our main. All endpoints. Here we have the middleware and see front end is 3001, which seems correct. And here in the API v1, I see API like API v1 string, it is API v1. Let me see. So here we're using this API v1 string. This doesn't seem related to the course, but course middleware and then allowed origin, allowed credentials. Allowed or all origins and expose header star. Okay. So here API v1 str is not applicable. We have to have /API, but it could have done this change in this settings constant only. You could change the value for API once. Okay. Here it's giving 200. Let me go back and see. Now we are getting 404. It says it's not able to find it /API/transactions. I had to give one colon then followed by one space before the example, but I think it will understand that. So course pre-flight requests are working, but the actual endpoints are returning 404. Let's check the API router and endpoints. It's fine to not have authentication, just like for testing, and then we can have it included. Now it's mocking the user ID. Since we are not like having the user logged in and then doing all of these activities on the dashboard, we don't have a real user ID to send to the backend. So for testing at least all the functionality, we can for now skip the auth. It is now adding year and month, which was not there in the monthly report. There are like a lot of mismatches between what's UI is doing and what we are trying to do or trying to achieve in backend. So there are mismatches. If we could have taken approach, so for now, for this demo, what we did is we just give the requirements and Drew understood those. Like we did not set the limits on how much it should code. So it coded a lot of things, and since because all of the other things were not clearly defined, it just went ahead with some code which now is not matching with the front end's work, and the like there are issues. So what we had to do is we had to just take feature by feature, like small feature, get it developed, get it tested, and then move to the next feature, which I am like insisting from the very start. But for this demo, I also wanted to show how it can go, like I wanted to show everything which can go well, which can go bad. So it should be an experience so that when we do with real, like use these AI tools with the real application, we know exactly how we want to go. So debug routes, it has added one debug endpoint with a simpler approach so that if that is working, it can move ahead to next endpoints to check if those are working. So let's save this. I think this seems working, and it is giving us all the routes. It's now setting it back to /API/v1. I think because all of the routes are registered with v1, and maybe now we have to. Okay, let's save this. Now we might need to do some changes on UI, but I think UI is calling on /API/files, whereas we here in the backend we are having /API/v1/files, and now it's trying to match to that by creating the proxy endpoints, which in my view is not a good approach. Better we have get it, like we have it fixed in the UI code. There is one file we can, if you want root to search for that file, it's fine, but otherwise in this environment file we already have 8000/API. We can just append /v1 here, and that should resolve this issue. So let me ask it to add it here. I can also add v1, but then I want you to have the like know that we're going to do this change. I want root to be aware of this change. So you can you rather than doing this, can you add v1 in dot env of frontend after slash API? Okay. So now we'll be having the front end calling slash API slash v1, and we're also having this versioning retained in the backend, which seems quite sensible to have, so that in future if we want to release new versions, we can just increment the version by 1 and go ahead like v2, v3. Okay, so now it says the API endpoints are now working. Even without testing, it says these are working. But let me first check and then decide whether these endpoints are now working or not. Let's clean. I think these started working. Okay, these endpoints we do fetch etc. So all of these endpoints are now working, which is a good news for us. But again, I think this data is not coming from the database. Let's verify once. Let's go to any of these endpoints, code for these endpoints. So for example, this is trends, where like inside trends.